We finally found him, Drew's Argentinian grandpa. Drew is related to Erwin Rommel. Wait, what? I am? I didn't know that. Look at Drew's younger pictures when he had no facial hair, and now look at this picture of Rommel. I mean, I guess I can kind of see it. Definitely with like the downward turned eyes or whatever is wrong with him. I guess we need to wait till I turn 50 and then I'll shave and then we'll see. I'd rather not have to wear the outfit he's wearing, but I see my subreddit is clearly asking the right questions. This male Chinese spy masqueraded as a woman and used a 20-year affair with a French diplomat to steal intelligence. He even purchased a child and convinced the diplomat that it was his. He was also formerly an opera singer, then turned to spy. I'm sure everyone's focused on how he managed to keep this 20-year-long relationship. I want to know how he just purchased a child. Like, how do you do that? Not that I'm asking. I want to know. Never mind. Come on, Pierre. Are you kidding me? Britain, bring me everyone. What do you mean, everyone? Everyone! And the Americans were really not joking around. They literally brought the entire squad to join this Korean War, and they clearly were gonna need it too. Remember, the Korean War ended in a stalemate, basically. Fun fact, they also said that very same thing for the first Gulf War as well, just to fight Iraq. Can we have George Washington crossing the Delaware? No, we have George Washington crossing the Delaware at home. Meanwhile, the George Washington crossing the Delaware at home. But I'm just really amazed that you're still trying to pretend like it is. This looks like some sort of like Adult Swim comedy sketch. Why is it Colonel Sanders? POV, the Battle of Midway. Finally, Pixar is now covering the World War II topic. It's about time. Wow, I actually really need to watch this movie. If I knew this was the actual plot to that Planes movie, I would have watched it. I know what I'm putting on tonight. Ukraine-Russian war. Russia warns Finland it is risking military incident as major U.S. weapon shipments are sent to Ukraine. Warn, you say? Laughs in the White Death. I don't think Finland is worried. One of the only countries that isn't afraid at all of Russia would be Finland. They're not afraid to bring out the snipers once again. Meanwhile, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, if it was epic and cool. This is actually just a clip from Kingdom of Heaven where they end up not fighting at the very end. Crazy how popular this movie has become. I thought I was the only person that existed that still remembered it. Crazy that all it took was literally this hand-raising edit for it to become like the most popular meme. Duels in fiction. Ding dong ding. Thou darest question mine honor, have at thee. Why indeed I do, though now that I am fighting thee. Meanwhile, duels in reality. Iron Herman fell prostrate to the ground, and this guy threw himself on top of him, pounding the knight's mouth and eyes with his iron ghouls. Yeah, I'm not even gonna read the rest of this, but you can kind of imagine. Bit more dark in reality, but is that really a surprise? Kamehameha the Great is 7 feet tall. This is the king of Hawaii. Meanwhile, his children, first of all, his son, the second, he is less than 6 feet tall, versus his sister, or the first daughter, over 6 feet. Why did the Hawaiian gods do this to him? The first king of all of Hawaii was reported to being 7 feet tall, and then those tall genes got passed down to his daughter, and not his son, I guess. Hawaiian chief liked Dragon Ball so much, he named himself after the Hadoken move. Didn't know they had Dragon Ball Z back 200 years ago. Ah, yes. An Aztec high priest stopping a cannonball flying right towards him after sacrificing 20 people. I knew that was gonna work, and I told them too, 19 wouldn't be enough. Needed to be 20 for this full power to happen. No wonder the Spanish were so adamant about stopping this. Spends 21% of GNP on the military, 1985. Meanwhile, the Soviet economy. Why is our economy a dumpster fire? More than a fifth going just to the military. And they would still end up losing to Afghanistan. Well then, and eventually losing the entire Cold War itself. Vietnamese, Cambodian, and Laotian refugees fleeing communism in 1975. Meanwhile, the US, Canada, Australia, and France granted them asylum. Well, I mean, for the US, it was like the least we could do. We were kind of responsible for the chaos. France too, we literally set this entire region on Earth completely on fire, basically. It's interesting though, even in my personal life, I have Vietnamese and Cambodian friends that have family in Australia, in France, obviously here as well, because that's how I know them. Meanwhile, the USS Wisconsin completely obliterating a North Korean artillery position. This battleship literally used every single one of their guns on this one location. You could probably call that overkill, but died the 15th of August, August 1945 versus born the 15th of August 1947. Welcome back, the Empire of Japan. Still in Asia, just a little bit more in the south here. Did not even realize how these dates completely matched up like that. Only 2 years in the afterlife. Not too bad, Empire of Japan. Really shouldn't be saying the Empire of Japan was horrible. Please, India, don't be the Empire of Japan. So much be happening on August 15th, though, apparently. India has rightful control of Manchuria. Oh yeah, Saudi Arabia becoming a wheat exporter. Look at that. Just don't pay attention to the massive subsidies, the depleted water resources, and all exploitation shutting down. That part doesn't really matter as much. I guess this happened in the 1980s, and by the 1990s, they became the world's 6th largest wheat exporter. Obviously, there would be some massive side effects of that, but mission accomplished, I guess. Kennedy gets shot, and the US might think it's you. The shooter was an American and not one of your own agents. The shooter was a Marxist and had lived in the USSR. Yeah, the Soviets tried to immediately say it was not their fault. A secret file described how Soviet leaders at the time thought it was a well-organized conspiracy by the US's ultra-right. Sometimes I like to put myself in their shoes at the time. Imagine if this Soviet leader Khrushchev was just assassinated, and immediately the entire world starts looking at the US like, yo, what? You're obviously gonna be like, what what? Like, you might be nuked in response at any moment. Kennedy gets shot, USSR, it wasn't us, I swear. US, we know. Wait, what? I asked random Germans on the street to point to Germany on a map. Oh, hold up. Is this a sign or something? Because this is looking awfully familiar. I think we've seen this map before. I mean, to be fair though, it was Germany, so I mean, they're not exactly wrong. Oh, I don't know. This is very ominous. I would definitely keep an eye on the Germans for sure. Love how well this is made. You have a literal modern day European map, but obviously the points, the red dots, really it's a familiar Germany. The Swedish Empire, circa 1658. Incredible, so much war, money, effort, and tactical genius to create an absolute worthless and dog poop empire. How many people even lived in it? 4 or 5? Thanks for that, Barry from England. I'm actually not surprised at all that this is his comment here, but alright. I guess if anyone's gonna criticize empires, it should be the British. They did have the biggest, but careful, all 3 of the Swedish posters here might get mad. USA history be like, the Treaty of Shibiwashashamnanuni, 3 million dead, 2 ethnicities extinct, main weapon, blanket. Oh, okay, alright. Yeah, not the best moment for us, but this is a good summary of pre-industrial American history. Prairie madness was an affliction that affected settlers in the Great Plains during the migration to basically Canada or Western US. People were experiencing mental breakdown for living in harsh environments. Symptoms of prairie madness included depression, withdrawal, character, and habit changes. These people eventually moved back east or eventually committed to not live. Imagine living in Kansas and it's so boring you don't even want to. As someone who grew up in Kansas, yeah. I'm actually not even slightly surprised though, I have to say. For some people, this is probably hell on earth. You want to defeat the best and strongest army in the world as a minor power. You have almost no men, but you look for solutions in ancient Roman scrolls. You find a way to better and modernize it for centuries to come. You win against all odds and your tactics get named the Dutch discipline. Your formation tactics get used for more than 350 years, revolutionizing war all over the world. That's how the Netherlands defeated the Spanish, most underrated country for real for real. I've said it before, I'll say it again, they do not get enough credit. Imagine being smashed between the UK, France, and Germany and still getting this big. Being remembered as one of the greatest generals of World War I and president of Germany. Being remembered as a balloon. Wait, are we talking about the Zeppelin? Yeah, that's Paul von Hindenburg. And when you Google his last name, this lead balloon is the only thing that comes up. When you do such a good job playing Stalin that he bans you from playing any other characters and forces you to play him for 13 more movies. I mean, that is the definition of suffering from success. I literally expected, honestly, nothing else from Stalin. Holy crap, he did look just like him, though. If you look at his history as an actor, he was playing all sorts of things. Then he played Joseph Stalin for 3 movies in a row, did 1 side project, and then for the rest of his life, he literally just played Stalin. That is impressive. Carthage after destroying the Roman navy, but they find another one looking for them about 2 minutes later. Please say psych. Literally the ancient day version of like the USA or the Soviet Union. Like they just had so much production power. Crazy logistics. India will be independent. Alright, B, I'm tired of you. How about giving us independence? If you want a war, let's do a war. Finally, how cool it is to be part of Malaysia. You have exactly 10 seconds to get the freak out of my union. The way different countries got their independence, all of South Asia basically was just like, yo, we're gonna be independent, and the UK had to oblige. Algeria had to literally fight a war against France to get their own freedom though. Finally, there was Singapore that didn't even want their independence, but Malaysia was just like, get out. And Well, funny enough, look who's laughing now. But I bring a sort of can't we just nuke 'em vibe to the Korean War that Harry Truman don't really like. Yeah, you could definitely say he didn't really like that vibe since I literally fired MacArthur here. Can't we just nuke 'em? What an infamous line. I love being Turkish. Ancestry test time. Oh boy. Here are the results. There is my Turkish ancestry. He's got Greek and Saudi Arabian. Also pretty much all the Balkan countries, but no Turkish. I mean... Remember, the Ottoman Empire was really big for a really long time. They had so many different cultures and ethnicity under their control. It probably does happen, though uncommon. Germany in Polish history books, Russia in Polish history books, Sweden in Polish history books. Pretty much all of Poland's neighbors in Polish history books. They literally all looked like this. And unfortunately for Poland, it really kind of just comes down to geography. Really hard to protect those extremely flat lands over there in that part of Europe. Very enticing for their neighbors to just go in and invade. Plus, don't forget, they just literally had so many neighbors to worry about too. It's like, yeah, you got a whole lot of land, but at what cost? You got a whole lot of land that everyone wants as well, so you were gonna have to fight for it, literally for their entire existence. And big thanks to my patrons this month.
Drew, je suis ton père de retour avec le lait, regarde dehors.
DOOCHBAGGINS, Amateur Archaeology, Carmel Saida,
Pavlik, Tambre,
Fredrik Tibblin, InquisitorXarius, Debeautiful-MEGAN-Underwood, JohnDenver, KirinoIsBestGirl, Sebby, the Mexicans, 760.